Hello and welcome to the second part of week 29, confidentiality and data protection. Let's have a look at the questions for this week. You've got 3 questions from unit 3. They link nicely to the safeguarding unit that we've also just been doing. So from DPR, Develop Professional Relationships 2.1, summarise the main points of legislation and procedures covering confidentiality, data protection and the disclosure of information. 2.2, explain the need to reassure children, young people and adults of the confidentiality of shared information and the limits of this. And 2.3, discuss situations when confidentiality protocols must be breached. We're going to look at all 3 questions together on one worksheet, and here is the worksheet. So if you click on that, let's have a look. So you've got 1, 2, 3 boxes to answer, and if you want to do one, there's a stretch and challenge. Let's have a look. So the first question, what are the main points of legislation covering these areas, confidentiality, data protection, and the disclosure of information? If you have a look at the link that I've put on Moodle, I've given you 4 bullet points to cover here. It's a summarised question. You can write short answers for this, and you have to look at under the new GDPR that came in 2018, these are the 4 things schools have to do. Appoint a data protection officer, a DPO. Prove that they're complying with the law. If any data breaches happen, they must be reported. And they also need to look at how children or parents, more likely in primary school, can request personal data. The second section is about the need to reassure children and adults of the confidentiality of shared information and what the limits are. And I think it's important to look at this from the point of view of adults, of parents at the school. There's a nice case study here that's come from Louise Burnham, and I particularly want you to think about it from the point of view, it's all about an autistic child in school. What about their parent? They need to feel trust in the school. And this is an explain question, so don't forget to P. Make a point, give an example, which can come from this case study, and then use phrases like because or in order to, as a result. And the final section is about when you must breach confidentiality. Obviously, you're going to start with if a child is at risk of abuse. And then I'd like you to pick 2 of these reasons, again from Louise Burnham's textbook, and explain, because this is a discuss or explain question, why do they apply in a school? So pick 2 of these that you think make sense to you, that you could think of a school-based example. And if you want to carry on with this, I've put a stretch and challenge down here for you all about whistleblowing. What if you felt the school that you were working in were not doing any of these things correctly? Would you whistleblow? And it's a nice idea to think about here. What are the pros and cons? You might think the school are not doing what they should be doing, but is it worth your job to blow the whistle on your organisation? Let's go back to Moodle and see where you're going to find information for these 3 questions. So this article here from the Times Educational Supplement is about the new GDPR regulations that came in 2018, and the answers you need for those 4 bullet points are on page 3 of the article. Might be worth reading the whole thing for a nice little quote, but page 3 is where you need to go to. Or you could look for a quote in Louise Burnham. These are the relevant pages for breaching confidentiality. That's the final section. And for the middle section of the worksheet, you've got that case study to refer to. And if you're interested, you could do the stretch and challenge here about whistleblowing. And I've put you a link to the government whistleblowing page here. And just to tie everything together, here are the practical criteria which link to this theory. We have already covered these, I think, a couple of weeks ago, maybe. Yeah. This is the practical evidence that relate to that mentions confidentiality, record keeping, secure storage of data in school. So you're going to find some records you have kept on children in school and show how you've kept them confidentially. Okay, this one we've already done. The other 3 questions are all on that worksheet. So fill in the worksheet, send it to me.